Hey guys, Kapper here and welcome back. Today's video, I'm going to go back 2 seasons on some hunting footage where I almost took a shot at a nice 4-year-old. I'm pretty sure of that, but today the purpose is going to be getting intel. I'm going to go back 3 different seasons and I'm going to show you the intel that I've got on deer, watching them get bigger, because I'm comparing it to trail cams that I'm getting right now. So this video, most of the hunting is from January of 2019, which I couldn't find the video. I'm pretty sure I thought that I had posted this video and I wanted to share it with one of my neighbors to show him one of those bucks from 2 seasons ago, and I couldn't find it anywhere on our channel. So anyways, it's not a harvest video, but it's really good to look back at intel and see each deer as they grow from year to year. So let's have some fun. Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoy our content and leave us a comment. We greatly appreciate it. So let's have some fun. Thanks. January 6th. Out behind the house. We'll give it a whirl. Okay, so this is the setup here down to my south. You've got mostly CRP. Right in front is the main food plot. So right now here in 2020, all these woods, I've cleared these and expanded this plot for this season. It's a fall food plot with brassicas, wheat, and oats. And then out this direction you've got the house and some more woods on the right hand side, but here you can see the house. We're about 300 yards away or so from the house on this particular food plot. Okay, I wanted to show you this before the hunt here. See that camera? It's just kind of tucked out of the way right now. But here is where it has to sit when I'm hunting, and it doesn't leave much room for the crossbow next to it, so that is why I struggle so much here in the video that you're gonna see. So I'm using the Bear Carnage crossbow. I just bought this a few weeks ago. I've got my Ozonics unit. Okay, so the hunt, by the way, I got out super late. I wasn't even gonna hunt. I snuck out into my stand at like 3 o'clock, which is really late, but it worked out perfect. So I had a really good start after only maybe 30 minutes or so in the blind. This young buck came out and started feeding in the food plot, which was a really good start because it was really early and I had plenty of time. You could see, watch him and all these other deer are hitting them bulbs, them turnip bulbs, which is very important because you want that late season food to last all the way through January, the end of your hunting season. So then after this buck, another one comes out, and this one I think is a year old. So I took my time and really looked this deer over, and you'll see here in just a few minutes when he's right next to the other buck, the first one. Okay, so here you're going to get a good look at both of them there. You see the one on the left, it's actually farther back, but he's got thicker shoulders and his back stands several inches taller than the one on the right. So I mean, I suspect the one on the right is a 2-year-old, although he could be a 1.5, and the one on the left I suspect is a 3, but I can't be certain of that. But when you see the big boy come out here, then you're going to see that one's even bigger than both of these two. Alright, then more deer started coming into the plot, and it's important to note here the wind direction was perfect. The wind was almost coming right in my face as you're looking out here towards the food plot, which is why it worked out so well. And then what you always want to happen finally happened. I see these 2 younger bucks looking in the thick brush, and it's then that you hope there's something bigger coming out yet. And here I thought I had it in frame, but I didn't. Obviously this deer was just a little bit to the left. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to do was I wanted to see the buck in the weeds behind this one to make sure that it wasn't a bigger buck in the weeds. And of course you could see him here. It's a little fork horn, and he wasn't. So then once I started looking over this buck, I decided yes, this was a mature deer, and yes, this was a shooter. So I had my Rage hypodermics all ready to go on the crossbow, and I started making preparations. But I wanted to show you I recognized this deer, and this is the deer this was from last year. Now this is 2017 opening gun. You'll notice how much bigger the body is on this deer, but look at what gives them away, them brow tines. As you're looking at them, the left one is broken, but as you're looking again, that right one, you can't miss that. So when we go back to this buck, you'll clearly see. But look at, he's out past his ears even last year, and look at his body is much bigger. That's because this was before the rut. This was opening gun season of 2017, and I passed him up. I could have harvested him last year, but I passed him up. And so now back to this year, back to 2 days ago, I started making preparations to try and harvest this buck. Okay, so then the first time I was going to try and shoot, I got the camera all set up. I think he was at 45 yards here, which and I had a really nice steady rest with the crossbow, which should have been a pretty easy shot from my practicing with the crossbow. The camera moves down, so the camera is not on a tripod, it's just sitting on the shelf. So the camera moved down, so then I'm like, okay, he's not going anywhere. So I recenter the camera, and I'm reaching over for the crossbow, but I wanted to get some film of this guy first. And then the second time here, here's the crosshairs, just so you have some reference. So I'm getting the crosshairs on him. That's 30, 40, 50, or 20, 30, 40, and 50 crosshairs. So everything is perfect right here. I'm just starting to get my rest going, and then the camera keeps sliding down. See how it's sliding down right there, right when I set it up? I mean, I deleted all of the jumpiness where I'm back and forth. So I was ready again here, and then he changes positions. I watched him for a few more minutes, and then the next time again, when I'm sighted in on him, the same thing happens, like 2 or 3 times in a row. The camera, I'm just like ready to squeeze the trigger on the crossbow, and the camera just slinks down and takes the buck out of view, or like halfway out of view. That's some of the frustrations of trying to film your own hunts. Guys that have done it can speak because they have experience. So here again, I had it set up and it sunk down again on the buck. So I grabbed the crossbow again, and I'm going to try this thing for like the 4th time now to take a nice shot. He comes like dead nuts at 40 yards right about here, and everything is perfect again. And then he starts walking away, but I have one more chance here that I'm going to try to get this buck. Oh, and one other thing, if you didn't notice, look at how thin this buck is. He lost so much weight from the rut. Even comparing it to last year's video that I just showed you, he was much beefier back then. I mean, they'll lose 1/3 of their body weight to the rut. So here I had it set up perfect. I went and grabbed the crossbow. I'm looking in the viewfinder, and of course he got out of view again. He stepped out a few more. So this is it. This is the grand finale. I'm about to shoot this deer. I got everything on. I got him on my 40 pin, perfect, very, very steady rest. And I look up at where the camera is placed, and the crossbow is like right next to the camera, and I had to move the camera again because the limbs would have smacked the camera, possibly broken it, would have made me miss the deer, would have sounded like a cannon and busted the whole field. Ask me how I know that. Because it happens. That's happened with my compound bow several times to me. Actually, accidentally, it happened once with the crossbow the same way. So you got to really watch where them limbs are. And these were all the deer in the field. I had to be very, very careful with any movement here. And because it's on such an angle between the crossbow and the camera, there's just not quite enough room in there. So had I not been filming, I would have harvested this buck, and he's got a lot of really nice mass. And in case you didn't notice earlier, he's got a nice split brow tine on his right side. So then these 2 and 3 year old or whatever they are start sparring, and even though the rut is over, they're going to spar because they're still establishing kind of the dominance level even now. And it looks like the smaller one is much more of a bully than the bigger of the two. But so that was it. So thanks for joining me today. I'll continue to gather intel. This is how I get to know the deer each year, and hopefully make an educated decision when the time comes, of course, unless a surprise big boy shows up, which sure has happened before. So I hope to see you on the next go around. Thanks a lot.